G'day everyone, this is DJ Cotts here, and this is a video that I've been meaning to do for quite a while now. It's basically going to show you how I actually film, edit, and put all of my videos together on YouTube to hopefully help some of you actually film and edit your videos as well, because I know a lot of you have asked me what cameras do I use, what editing software do I use, all that type of stuff. So I'm basically going to go from start to finish looking at the cameras that I use, the editing software, how I sync everything up, how I get good quality audio on my videos, and hopefully it will give you some tips and tricks how to improve your own if you do it as well. If you're hoping for some music or a mix in this video, you will be disappointed, and I don't know how long this is going to go for, because I'm just going to basically talk you through the entire process and show you some examples. So if you're interested, definitely stick around. But I guess we should start with what do I do first when we're actually starting to put a mix together. Usually what my YouTube channel's turned into is kind of a way to promote hardcore music to people that wouldn't normally be exposed to it. I really enjoy taking some of the new latest EPs or new albums that have been coming out and basically do a demo mix and show people the music. Hopefully they'll enjoy it and try and get them to go over and support the artists that are making this fantastic stuff, because it's really quite a small scene, and yeah, I really enjoy the music and I want to support it as much as possible. So usually what I do is for the YouTube mixes, I generally plan out the type of stuff that I'm going to play. For a normal set, I generally won't plan it. I'll just play whatever sounds good at the time or whatever comes to mind. But for YouTube, I generally spend about 5 minutes actually thinking about what music I'm going to put on, and then I just chuck those on the USB keys for the CDJs. And once I've decided that, it gets to filming. So it's actually the easiest part of the whole process. What I do is I use a GoPro HD Hero 2 camera. I actually use 2 of them for multiple camera angles, and I film all my YouTube videos now with these guys. And for my happyhardcore.com live shows, I actually use a Logitech C920 webcam. And I used to film all of my YouTube videos with this camera. It's actually pretty good, and it does a really good job. The thing that really improves the video quality is not necessarily the camera, but the lighting that you have in your room. The lighting here in this room is absolutely terrible. I've got basically a compact fluorescent, it's not compact at all actually, it's huge. It's equivalent to a 200 watt light bulb in the roof, and that's why you see this kind of light coming down. It does help. It's better than a normal standard light bulb because this room's really, really bright. However, the light isn't diffused in any way. What I mean by that is it's coming from one direction. It's not one direction. It's not kind of spread out anywhere around the room. So you see that the light's coming from one place. It's not soft. It's pretty harsh. And one thing that I've been meaning to get, and you guys should look into if you want to kind of improve filming and you're serious about this stuff, is you can buy off eBay these kind of stands with umbrellas on them. They're kind of white umbrellas and they have lights behind them, and those umbrellas help spread the light out and diffuse it throughout the room, and it gives a really, really nice effect, and helps you get a lot of detail in your shots. The camera that I'm using right now to film this on is a really terrible old Canon point and click camera. You can probably see by how grainy it is, but you know, it doesn't matter. And you know, for the purposes, I think the cameras that I've got do pretty well. Once I've got the cameras, I basically set them up around the room, and I'll show you guys quickly. I'll take this camera off here. I have this monstrosity sitting on the roof, and I have just stuck that there, and that gets the top-down shot over all of these decks. So I pop one GoPro camera in there, and I also sometimes chuck one on a little bracket that I've stuck on top of the speaker there, or I will actually use this tripod, which I've got this screwed into right now, and I'll actually sit it up there looking down on the decks. And then I will generally start my mix. There's 2 parts. obviously you've got the filming, so the camera side of it to actually record all of this stuff, and then you've got the audio as well. A lot of people used to, not so much anymore because I figured it out, but they used to actually just put a mix on, hit record on their pocket camera like I've done right now, and then record the audio out of the speakers on the camera, and it doesn't sound that great. What I actually do to get good audio quality is I take a line out source on from the mixer and I pipe it straight into my computer down here, and I record it on my computer over there, and I'll show you how to do all of that. And I will now set the cameras up as if I'm going to do a mix. Alright, so now we're set up to record this mix. I have the cameras in their place, so I've got two there, and also I've got my audio set up. Now for recording audio, I've basically taken out of one of the record outs on this mixer into one of my pocket recorders. This is a Sony PCM M10. I use it for all the gigs that I go to. I absolutely love it, and it would help if I put batteries in it. Alright, so now that we got the batteries in, we're ready to record, so we're going to hit record on our pocket recorder, and you're going to see when we play some tunes that the levels will come through on the device. See the audio coming through there very nicely. But what I normally do to record if I'm at home is I use a program called Sony SoundForge, is the one that I use by choice, and I'm going to hit record on that. You can use a free recording software called Audacity, and basically I've got another audio cable running from the mixer here into the line in recording slot on the computer. So when I hit play, you can see the audio come through there on the computer. And so to start this mix, we will start this camera here, and we're now recording on this camera, and we're also recording on the pocket recorder. And basically now you just do your mix. Mix that all together, and then we have to edit together the files at the end. Now the one thing that I find really helps, because we have to sync together all these devices later, the one thing that I find really helps is if you actually clap your hands or do something where you can mark a point in all three video and audio sources. So if we turn on the microphone here and we put the microphone on the mixer, this is what I find helps a lot. And then I'll just put the camera down, and then I just go and I clap on top of the microphone. It's kind of like a clapboard when you're starting filming TV or movies. That's what that board's for. It's basically to help the people that are editing the video actually sync up the audio and video together. So I know that when I hear the clap in the audio of my hands, that's when it started, and I can see myself clapping in the video as well, so that helps me in a second. So I'm just going to do a quick mix now so we can use this video for editing together all the footage. Alright, so now that we've captured the video and the audio for our mix, it's time to edit it all together. This is the time consuming part of the process. It normally takes me anywhere between 6 to 8 hours to edit together a video after this point. That's only because I use a lot of camera angles, and I really like to get everything perfect and put all the animated titles in, and that takes a lot of time, and with proofing the mix and everything like that. I'm not saying that this will take you that long. It depends how complicated you want to get with your editing, but that's just a rough guide. Don't expect this to be a really quick process. With one camera angle, it's significantly easier, however. So what I've done is I've downloaded all the files from the devices that we recorded with. So we've got our audio for our mix here, we've got the top-down GoPro camera angle and the side-on GoPro camera angle. The first thing we want to do is trim the audio to the size of our mix. I find that a lot easier to do outside of the editing program. That's just my personal preference. So what I like to do is just open this audio file, and we can see that there's a waveform here. Having trouble with the mouse today. Basically, I recorded this mix twice, and by that I mean as an example, we messed up this mix and I stuffed that up and wanted to start over, so I left all the cameras and everything recording. Then there's the blank audio space, and then I started mixing again. And what we want to do is just trim the whole lot to this selection that we want to import into the video editing software. You can see here that there's a little spike in our waveform, and that's actually our clap that we did at the start. So what we want to do is, we know that that marks the start of the mix, so I just want to delete the earlier part, and then I'll save that under a different name. You don't want to ever save over your source audio, because I've done that way too many times and stuffed up many mixes. And then that's ready to go. So now we want to load up our video editing software. I use Adobe Premiere Pro CS6. Now this software is on Mac as well, and I am a massive fan of it. It's sort of towards the more heavy-duty end of video editing software. So if you're new to video editing, you might want to try one of the more simple software solutions, such as Windows Movie Maker, iMovie, and then there's other products that compete with this, like Final Cut Pro. I used to actually use Cyberlink Power Director to edit together all of my videos, and upgraded to this because I felt as though it was a little more robust and gave me a little bit more flexibility when I do silly things in the mixes, like pop faces into the screen and all that type of stuff. So sky's the limit with this guy. So what I want to do is create a new project. I should quickly mention that the majority of principles that I'm going to talk about when I'm editing this will apply to any other piece of video editing software, because I'm just going over the basics. So we want to start a new project, and I'm going to call it Test Mix. And now it's going to ask for our sequence settings. Now that's really telling the project what type of video you want to edit. So that's the resolution of the video, the frame rate of the video. If you don't know what this is, don't worry. Premiere Pro or most other video editing software will figure out the sequence settings for you. However, I know that I recorded in 1080p at 25 frames a second on the GoPro. So I'm going to select that and click OK. And now this is the main editing window. We've got the timeline here. We've got a file browser here. We've got our video monitor up here so we can see what we're doing. And what we're going to do first of all is import the files that we edited. So we're going to drag the files that we've saved from our devices into the edit window. So we're going to drag this over here, and what that's going to do is it's going to import them and populate it there. So we've got a few challenges now. Okay, so if we drop the audio onto the timeline, we've already trimmed the audio, so we know that that is the mix. You can see there the waveform of the audio and our clap at the very start. If we drag in one of these videos and we hit play, we can see that that's completely out of sync. So the video does not match the audio. So we first of all need to get this video in time with this audio here. So we're going to scroll across. So we're just going to find the point where I clap again. I know that's kind of at the second part. We can scan through it. There we go. We saw me clap. So here we go. And I paused it right on that frame where you see the hands come together. And that is an awesome indicator. So now what we want to do is split that clip and drag that to the start of our audio. Just want to load that at the start. And now we can see that it's in sync. Now the one thing is we've got two audio streams going at the same time. Now we've got the camera's audio and we've got our actual audio that we've recorded really nicely. So we don't want the camera's audio anymore, so we can just mute the camera's audio. We do that in most video editing software by clicking the mute or track output button where the audio is. So now we should just have the recorded audio. So if we hit play, and that's really nice. Now that's all in sync and ready to go. So what about adding another camera angle here? This is where it gets tricky. you generally do the same thing. You drag the next video in, figure out where in the video. We'll just hide this video track. You can toggle that by clicking on the same with the audio, but on the video track. Sorry about my terrible explanation. So we want to scan through this. I think we've just found it. Yeah, and there we go. So we're going to split the video there. Drag that forward. And now, in theory, we should have all the videos in sync. So how do we switch between the two? If in most video editing software, when you've got a video track that's on top of another one, it takes precedence. So we can see that we can now see the top camera angle. We turn that off, and now we can see the side camera angle. Now there's this line here, and it's called opacity, and basically that shows the it allows you to kind of fade in or fade out that video channel. And we control opacity in Adobe Premiere Pro by going over to the effect controls while we've got the clip that we want to change selected. And we want to open opacity here. We can see opacity is at 100%. That means that the clip is solid and we can't see through it. It's not an opaque clip. We want to create a keyframe, scroll to later in the clip, and then we can move that to 0. As you can see, this line has changed. It fades down. So if we look back at our program window, you'll be able to see that the camera will change. And it will fade between the two clips. So chances are to switch camera angles, we want to do that very, very quickly. So what you can do is just split this clip here and then drag the opacity there to 0 and then split it again and then move it back up when we want to see that camera angle again. So essentially this section here just turns off for this period, so you'll be able to see the layer that's underneath it, which is this other camera angle. So if we play this, it switches that camera. And it switches back and forth between the two. That's pretty cool. Now that's one way you can edit together multiple camera angles, but it's very, very time consuming because I would have to go through the video and do hundreds of little splits all through there to make it really cool. But the one thing we can do with Adobe Premiere Pro is use this inbuilt tool called the multi-camera editor, and it saves me hours of editing time, and I suggest that you use it if you can. The way it works is we first need to tell the editing software where the start of both clips should be so they're in sync, and that was the hand clap that we used before as our marker. So we want to right click on this, or actually we want to double click on it, and we want to find in here hand clap. So we found the hand clap, and then what we want to do is we want to mark an in point, and that allows us to basically tell the software that, hey, this is the start of where I want this clip to start. So I want to click mark in, right? And that's marked the start of that clip. Now what we want to do is go over to our other camera angle and open it and do the same thing. And there's our hand clap there. So we want to mark that as an in point. Now that we've marked both the in points, what we can do is we can select both clips here. You do that by holding the Shift key and highlighting both the clips, right-clicking on it, and say Create Multi-Camera Source Sequence down here. So we click on that, and it will say, hey, how do I know whether both these camera angles are in time? And that's called a synchronize point. We've already marked that because we've used in points on the track, so we want to select in points as our synchronization method. Then we click OK, and we can see that this new thing has appeared in the file browser. Now it's called multicam. Now what we want to do is drag the multicam onto the timeline and That's really cool. We'll go back to our program monitor. Here we can only see one camera angle. That's fine. However, we want to make sure that our hand clap lines up perfectly. So we're just going to trim this audio a little bit, 1 frame, so our hand clap's right at the start. It's exactly what we want. So now all 2 camera angles and the audio are in sync. So we want to go to the window view here, select multi-camera monitor. I'm just going to bring this over from another screen I have here. Click on multi-camera, and I'll bring that to video 1. And you can see both the camera angles here. And this is the main output that people can see. So what we can do now is we can hit record, hit play, and it will play both the camera angles. And when we want the camera angle to change, we can either click like that, so that worked. And as you can probably see something that just happened then, the video wasn't actually in time with the audio, and you can see that what I've done is I've actually stopped and I'm starting the clap again, and that's because I screwed up and did another attempt. And this is kind of the trial and error. The most difficult part about getting this project set up is getting everything in time. So we can see that there's another hand clap here. So what I'm going to do is we don't need to resynchronize the clips because they're already in sync. So we want to just select the clips beforehand. We don't need those anymore. Our hand claps here. So we want to trim the clip to that hand clap. Move that to the start. And now hopefully if we play this, yes, so now that's all in time. Alright, so now we want to hit record, play. Click between our camera angles as we want it. One thing you can also do is use the 1, 2, 3 or 4 keys to select the camera angle you want. So I'm going to press number 2 on the keyboard. 1, 2, 1, and you get the idea. So you can do this with up to, I think it supports up to 32 cameras, but that's a bit excessive for what we're doing. You can just synchronize it all up, put it in there. And now when we hit play, it will automatically switch between the cameras for us, and that's pretty cool. It saves me a lot of time editing. It's awesome. So we want the start of the mix to start from the audio. We want to cut out the hand clap, so we just want to trim this clip here, trim the audio clip like that, drag all the clips forward. So now our video starts at when I hit play. And it sounds good, and it looks good, and it's switching between all the camera angles. Now, when the video finishes, we want to trim the end. Oh, it trimmed both clips. We want to make sure we've only got the one selected. Like so. You can zoom in. And I just kind of stopped the music because I was just testing. But that's the end of our video. So now that we've got all the camera angles sorted out and we've got the audio sorted out, it's all in sync. We want to make it a little bit nicer. So we want to click here. Maybe let's make the start of the video fade in, for example. So we want to use that opacity trick that we used before. So select the clip, click on the effect controls, in the opacity tab, set a keyframe. So that's at 100%. And then we want to scroll to the start, make the opacity 0. And now, when the video is starting, doesn't that look a bit nicer as it fades in and out? Then we can do the same for the end of the clip. Effect controls, opacity, set a keyframe, fade the end of the clip out. And And we can even do the same with the audio, with the volume. So we can click on the audio here, effect controls, set a keyframe, and this is the volume, I should say, the volume in the audio effects, and make that down to minus quiet sound, and now that fades out, and so does the audio. So we've gotten this far. Now you might want to do a few things, such as adding in track IDs. We can do that by right-clicking here, creating a new item, and that's called a title. And let's call this Shimamura, because that's the name of the track. And it will bring up the title editor. Okay, so this track is called Awesome, and we don't want to use that crappy font. Yes, Comic Sans, such wow, much amaze. We're going to make a nice contrast for Comic Sans. Choose our color, right? Yeah, bright green. We're going to change the font just down a little bit so it fits on the screen. Then position that nicely like that. So now we have this title. So now we're going to drag this title in. Now remember, as I said, same thing applies. If a video track's on the top, it means that it is visible on top of that layer. If we move this clip up, we won't actually see the title because this video is over the top of that title clip. So we've got the title here. If you want to make it fade in nicely, the same thing applies. You can go to Effect, go to Opacity, set a keyframe, fade that clip in, and now we can see the title fade in and it goes over the top of the video, and it looks cool. And then that's only going to be displayed on the video for as long as this clip is. So we'll finish it there. So we'll give it about 10 seconds, enough time for people to read the clip, read the track. So now people know what the track is, and you can do that for all the tunes that are in the video. And that's pretty much it. One thing also I like to do is do a talking intro at the start of the video. So I explain what music I'm playing, all that type of thing. So if I do that, what I would do is I'll just steal an intro that I made, that I had from another video that I was editing, drag this in. What is this? So we'll drag this on the timeline, and yes, we can see me there. So we would insert this at the start, and just for example's sake, we'll drop that in. You don't want to do that. It makes it out of sync and creates nightmares. So we'll just drag that there, and now we've got me talking at the start. Now this was filmed in 720p, so it doesn't actually fill up the whole frame because our project is a 1080p project. The way to get around that is you click on this and we want to stretch it. So we want to go to the motion tab and we want to change it to 150% because 1080p is 720p is it's that much bigger. So now it fits the frame, and we've got me talking there. That's kind of boring though, right? So I'm just blabbing away. You don't want to listen to me just talking. So we want to put some music behind that. So we can drop in a MP3 file. So we've got this audio track here. And we'll just shorten that so it fits at the start. And we'll turn the volume down because you've got to hear me talking. And you can use that line to do it. Hit play.
Showcasing some of the best hardcore tracks.
And it's more interesting having the music in the background with me talking. Just make sure that this isn't too loud so you can still understand what I'm saying. And then you can, as with the volume on that clip, you can fade in the volume and fade out the volume and make it all nice. But that's really about it, how to get those clips together, and that's how I do it. what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a project that I did earlier. So this project, as you can see, we've got all of our multi-camera angle changes there. We've got titles up the top there. We've got our tune audio down the bottom, and I'm just going to walk you through this project. So basically we've got our intro here. This is where I talk. It fades in.
G'day everyone, this is DJ Cotts here, and this is a...
It is me, and we've got the track that's playing in the background there. That's at a low volume. And then we fade in a few things. I'm talking about Future World, so I'm fading in the Future World logo here, and that'll be faded in and out.
called Future World, run by...
So that fades in the corner there, and I've also got DJ Breeze that pops in the corner. Ooh, sneaky. And then we also have a couple of logos that fade in.
Brand new Dougal and Gamma EP Volume 2, followed by the Darren Styles and
that
Gamma
fades in.
EP.
Then we've got the Beatport
So if you
logo
want to
that comes
support,
in the corner
head
here.
over to Beatport where you can buy all these tracks. You can mix them up yourself.
That's kind of cool. And then the mix fades in here.
Next.
And then the titles come in. Now my computer's too slow to render this in real time, but you can see the title comes up in there. Now that's from a linked to an Adobe After Effects project. I won't be going into that right now because it's a little bit complicated. If you want me to do a video on how to do animated titles in After Effects, definitely let me know. And then we've got the ending. We've also got the logo swinging in. That's something that I did in After Effects. And basically all I'm doing is I'm fading in the three logos there. We've got the Quirk Out tape, and that's loaded in the background. And basically all I've done is I've blown up that video and I've just chucked it in the background there. And also another copy of the Quirk Out tape there, so people can click it. And yeah, that's a basic project. That took me probably about 6 hours to actually get right with all the animated titles and all that fancy stuff. So I hope you learnt a little bit from that. If you've got any specific questions or queries, definitely let me know. And just remember, it's all about just recording the audio with a proper recording source out of your mixer, recording the videos, syncing them all up in your video editing software, splitting it together if you're using multiple camera angles to make it a little bit more interesting, and adding the titles in there as well for track IDs, and yeah, doing any other funky stuff. And yeah, I hope that was useful.